guys, so I'm going to whip through ABO blood typing. Let's start with definitions of an antigen and antibodies. So for the purpose of ABO blood typing, we can define an antigen as just a marker, basically, a marker on the red blood cell, and an antibody as an immune system component, which is part of the plasma of the system. So let's just have a look at an example. So we'll go to A. So this is a red blood cell here, no nucleus, as we remember, and full of hemoglobin, transporting our oxygen around. It's got an A antigen on it, so that's all it's got. It's just got an A antigen, and then that's how we know that it's an A blood type. So A antigen, A blood type, and then basically in our plasma, which is outside of the blood cell, we're going to carry antibodies. So we're going to carry with an A antigen, with an A blood type, we're going to carry antibodies for B. So we're protecting ourselves against the B antigen. Okay? So we'll just move on to B. B obviously has a B antigen, and then it has antibodies against A. So it's protecting itself against an A antigen. So it's got antibodies against A, and it's got its B antigen. AB has got both A and B antigens on the red blood cell, and it obviously can't have anything in the plasma. It can't have B or A antibodies because it would attack its own blood cell. Okay, so it's got nothing in the plasma. It's just got A and B antigens, and it doesn't have protection against obviously other blood cells. So that's something about A and B. So and then O, we've got no O, 0, so no antigens on the red blood cell, and then because we've got no antigens on the red blood cell, we can have antibodies against both. So you can see that's a B, that's my example of a B antibody, and then an example of like an A antibody, and it's got protection against both of those. Okay, so if we look at an A blood type, so we've got an A red blood cell with an A antigen, B antibodies, and we think about what type of blood we can receive. A few things we need to know is that when we transfer blood, we don't really transfer our antibodies because we're giving packed cells. So there's a couple of reasons. My understanding is there's a couple of reasons why we don't transfer antibodies. One is they die really easily, and two is that that basically we try and filter that out. So we've got lots of red blood cells with not a lot of plasma, which is why we call it sort of packed cells when we're giving blood cells to people in clinical setting. So if we think about this person's alive, he's got A antigens on his red blood cells, so he's got B antibodies, and he's bleeding out, he needs blood. Okay, so what type of blood can we give him? All we need to know is that he's got A antigens, so we can work out he's got B antibodies, so therefore we couldn't give him B blood, because it's got a B antigen, yeah? So his antibodies are going to fight against that B antigen, so we couldn't give him B. Could we give him AB? Well, no, we couldn't, because AB has the B antigen on it, so therefore his immune system component, which is their antibodies, are going to attach to that antigen, and they're going to hemolyze. It's going to kill that blood cell. Okay. Could we give him O? Yeah, sure, we could give him O, because we're not really transporting these antibodies, so these A antibodies aren't going to attack his A antigen, because they die easily, and we're giving packed cells. So he's just getting the red blood cell basically, and it's got no antigens. So nothing's going to, there's nothing to attach to. So the antibodies can't fight against this blood cell because there's nothing to attach to. So we could go ahead, we could give him, can receive, think about it, could we give him A? Yeah, sure, we could give him the same blood, that's fine. So we could give him A, and we could give him O, yeah? And that's as easy as it is. So we'll go through and do B. B's got a B antigen. So, and therefore he's got A antibodies. So we could give him B, because he could give him his own blood, that's fine. Could we give him A? Well, we couldn't, because the antibodies would fight against the antigen on A, so we can't give him that. Can we give him AB? We can't give him AB, because the antigen on AB. Can we give him O? Sure, we can give him O. So AB. There's nothing in his plasma, because there's nothing to, otherwise he'd be trying to fight his own cell all the time, okay? So could we give him A? A's got an A antigen. Yeah, we could give him A. Because there's no antibodies there to fight against A. Is there fight against B? No, so we can give him B. Could we give him AB? Sure, we can give him his own blood. And then O, sure, because O we can give to anything, yeah, because O has no antigens, nothing to mark against. Okay, so now we're going to go for a person who's got O-type blood. So he's got antibodies in both, for both. So he's got antibodies for A, antibodies for B, and antibodies, or antibodies for A and B. So could we give him A? No, because we got antibodies against it. Could we give him B? No, because we've got antibodies. A and B, definitely not. So basically, O is a little bit screwed. He can only get O. So you can only receive O blood. So that's sort of the ABO blood typing system, I think, as far as you guys need to go with it. There's about 30 different types of blood typing, but that's sort of the ABO blood typing. And the other important one is your Rh factor, which we talked about the other day. So we're going to go through the Rh factor really quickly. So Rh factor, otherwise known as D antigen. So this is, let's call this like the Rh factor, or lowercase a, or it's also called the D antigen. Okay. You either have it or you don't. So let's say I've given it an A as an example here. So let's go ahead. What do we know is in A's plasma? We know we've got B antibodies. Yeah. So let's go ahead and put some B antibodies in, just so that you know where we're at. That's in his plasma. So this guy is A positive because he's got the Rh factor. So he's A positive. Now, you either have it or you don't. This guy has it, so he's A positive, and that's fine. But the problem's going to come when we go ahead and give this blood to somebody else. So let's talk about A. So this is somebody with A blood, otherwise known as A negative. So he doesn't have the Rh antigen or the D antigen. So he's just A. As we know, he's got B antibodies. Let's make that a bit more of a circle. B antibodies to fight against B in case we give him B blood, which we're not. We're going to give him A positive. So let's say this person's bleeding out. He needs blood. We're going to go ahead and give him blood with a positive a D antigen on it, as well as an A. Okay. So his immune system's going to see this D antigen, and it's going to start to not like it. Yeah. So it's going to fight against it. Basically, the first time he sees it, it's not so bad. You know, the immune system's going to take a little while to build up an antibody against it. But the second time we give it, he's going to have antibodies ready to go. Okay, so basically he's going to create. Let's say this would fit into a this is an antibody against the Rh factor. So now what we call this guy, say he's received this once, we call him Rh sensitized, or yeah, like he's been sensitized to the Rh factor. So he's not positive now just because he's been given some positive blood. He's still negative because he doesn't have the Rh antigen on his red blood cell. But what he's created is antibodies against the Rh antigen. So therefore, like, next time we give it to him, he's got these antibodies ready to go, and he's going to attack these blood cells that we give him, which is obviously hemolysis. It's not going to work. So what we call this guy is R negative, and he's sensitized. I don't know about my spelling there, but he's sensitized. So it's as simple as that, okay? I think that's all you really need to know for Bio 121. And let me know if you have any questions. Oh yeah, universal receiver and universal donor. I mean, we can work that out just by knowing which antigens are on which blood type, which is B. It's got B. AB's got AB. Therefore, which antibodies are in the blood type in the plasma. So therefore, you know, we can see that AB is our universal receiver, because we can see, like, they can receive A and B and O. And then we can see that our universal donor is O, so this person can receive O, and O. Okay. So you don't need to remember the big matrix about which one can receive which. You just need to know which antigens on the blood cell, and therefore which antibodies in the plasma. It's as easy as that.